Netflix have just released a new show called Another Life. I was really looking forward to this one, so here's my initial reaction after the first 2 episodes. Another Life is a 10-episode science fiction series. It's set on a near-future Earth that, apart from a few futuristic technologies, isn't that much different from our own world. A mysterious alien artifact appears in the sky and lands. Katee Sackhoff, Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica, plays Nico, a very skilled spaceship commander who is sent on a mission to find the aliens that sent the object and uncover what it is they want. Overall, I've enjoyed the first 2 episodes. The tone of the show is largely down to earth and serious, but with perhaps some overly heightened conflict, but I'll talk more about that a bit later. It feels similar to shows like Battlestar Galactica and Stargate Universe. The casting of Katee Sackhoff was clearly no accident. They're appealing to that gritty, realistic science fiction, and yet the show doesn't quite feel like either of those other shows. It has its own feeling. The show seems to switch between 3 different modes: white-knuckle suspense, mystery and wonder, and character introspection. And those are all ingredients that I enjoy. The beginning of the first episode felt a little bit rushed. I would have liked if the show had sat in that moment of mystery and wonder a little longer. I actually got more of a sense of wonder from the trailer, which included voiceovers from news broadcasts talking about how an alien object had appeared in the sky. And then we jump ahead 6 months. Nico has a husband and a daughter. Her husband is a scientist with a job of studying the artifact. Nico has a very hard choice to make. Does she stay at home with her family, or go on the 6-month mission, leaving them behind? Well, we know what she chooses, because otherwise there'd be no story. The show does a good job of portraying the sacrifice that people make when they have to leave their families for long periods of time to perform acts of service, such as serving in the military. But it's not just their sacrifice. The family they leave behind are also making a huge sacrifice. This is dramatised very effectively. This is another moment where I felt the beginning was a little rushed. 1 minute the thing is landing, and then we're in space on the mission. I wanted more context. I wanted them to study the artifact a bit more first. Apparently we're heading to the planet where we think the object was created. But how do we determine where it came from? What do we know about the object and the potential threat it represents? I was feeling a little bit lost without this context. Now, I understand in the real world, the mere existence of an alien object like this would be considered a threat simply because it is not understood. But in a story, you really need to cement the stakes. Even just a line about how they've determined there's a massive power source inside the object, or something like that. The characters all act as if the human race is at risk, and I'm willing to buy that. But I'd just like to have a little more clarification of the situation to help me invest in the importance of this mission. So let's talk cast. The show is kind of drip-feeding the characters to us. We get to know them a few at a time. They'll all get their turn in the spotlight, I'm sure. Nico is a no-nonsense commander. She carries a lot of weight, which she takes seriously, but she doesn't waste time being all angsty about it. She misses her family like crazy, but it doesn't interfere with her work. Her first officer, Yerxa, used to be the captain of this ship, but both Nico and the generals agree that he may not be up to a mission of this magnitude. Nico calls him a hothead. This leads to some awkwardness amongst the crew. Nico calls this out and acknowledges how uncomfortable it feels, but encourages them to accept things and get on with the job. The conflict between them comes to a head when they find the ship is off course and they have to decide how to deal with it. This ties into the theme. There's a big theme in the first 2 episodes of risk. What risks should you take, and what ones should you avoid? Is it better to reach the destination quickly, or take it slow and steady? There are so many tensions here. They all have loved ones that they want to get back to, but at the same time, if they fail their mission, the whole human race could be at risk. Nico and Yerxa clash over these decisions, and it comes to mutiny. And then after that's resolved, that's when things really get serious. This is where the realism starts to become a little bit strained. While the drama is exciting, I can't help but think that people in this situation were would be a bit more professional than this. But something happens at the end of the first episode which makes me wonder if perhaps Yerxa is under some kind of alien influence. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. I think some of the conflict also comes from the fact that most of the crew are in their 20s, and Nico is older. One of the characters calls out herself that 20-somethings are generally more willing to take risks, whereas older people are more inclined to play it safer, especially if they have families. Personally, I think many of the crew members still have a lot of growing and maturing to do. One of my favourite characters so far is William, a holographic interface for the ship's artificial intelligence. He's very likeable and fiercely loyal to his captain. He adds an ironic humanising touch. And on the subject of holograms, they use holographic communication on this show. And I have to say, they've done it much better than Star Trek Discovery did. Now, even with all canon issues aside, the holographic communication technology on Discovery just didn't make logical sense. But on this show, they've thought it through a little. They thought there must be a projector and a camera somewhere. Parts of the body that the camera can't see are not rendered, so if the person on the other end is sitting down behind a table, you see a torso and head floating in front of you. The holograms are lifelike, not translucent. Kind of no reason for that. A very occasional glitch makes it clear that they are holograms, but I think these glitches are not in the projection technology, but in the communication. They're having real-time video chat over interstellar distances. It makes sense that the signal will glitch a little. While all of this is happening out in space, Nico's husband is trying to find a way to communicate with the artifact while raising his daughter alone, and dealing with all the feelings that come from the long-term distance between him and his wife. One other issue I noticed with the show is the way that exposition was handled early in episode 1. Exposition is hard to get across in a story. There were a couple of times here that felt a little bit like, as you know, Bob, conversations. This is not uncommon on TV, but I really noticed it here. It's not a big thing, it probably just stuck out to me because I'm a writer. Their spaceship, the Salveri, looks pretty cool. It's got a bit of a hard sci-fi look to it. You know, a big ring around the outside and various modules inside. They've got artificial gravity and a landing craft. Another Life is hitting the right buttons for me so far. Nico is a protagonist I can relate to because she's a parent, she's married, and she's close to my age. I love stories about space exploration, heading out into the unknown. I'm very eager to learn more about these aliens, and while the drama seems a little heightened for my believability so far, it leads to some great action. I think this show has the potential to be as good as Stargate Universe and Battlestar Galactica. It's not quite there yet, but I'm very much looking forward to watching more. Another Life is available on Netflix. It has an Australian rating of MA for strong themes and strong blood and gore, although I haven't encountered any gore yet. It also has a fair bit of swearing in it. And if you like space-based sci-fi that explores themes of risk and safety, check out my book Jewel of the Stars, about a cruise ship in space on the run from an alien armada. My captain, Les Miller, has to deal with some similar questions to Nico. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Live long and prosper.